Hey there gamers, welcome back and welcome to the second part of the 2024 yearly ranking. As already seen, this year was stacked, with tons of interesting and super high quality titles, but only some can reach the top. Only some games can be considered exceptional. And here they are, the absolute best games I played this year. Lost Epoch has a really interesting skill system, but it kind of falls off at the end. The Division is fun, but rough around the edges in a lot of aspects, and Nobody Saves the World is extremely unique, but also maybe too simplistic for some. But there's another game in this genre, one that has all of the strengths and all of the weaknesses of these games. The Division 2 is the best ARPG I played this year, and honestly, the best one I played overall. Everything good about the first is still here, smooth cover system and gunplay, great atmosphere and a well-balanced gear progression. It also fixes all its issues. Its open world content is now more fun and mainly dynamic, changing generic side missions into a constant fight for Washington DC. It also gets rid of the annoying bout sponge enemies, instead focusing on larger, full-health squad enemies with better role and ability design, which means it maintains its tactical, fast-paced gameplay without losing anything in the process. It also happens to have the best endgame out of any RPG I ever played, with seasonal content focusing on extra challenges, new missions and modifiers. I can't wait for the next chapter in this series. Rainward is one of the best designed games I ever played. It's a complex, dense web of systems and mechanics, all of which constantly interact with each other. It takes a bit to get used to them, or to even get used to getting used to them, but once you do, this is one of the tensest platforming, survival, weird pseudo-metroidvanias I ever played. This is a game where your main strength and progression is knowledge and experience, from your movement to the enemy behavior to the food chain. It's a game that feels analog and incredibly satisfying to figure out. It's also the most beautiful pixel art game I ever played, with these super detailed, extremely atmospheric desolate locations. I can genuinely think of only one other game that does this sort of atmosphere so well, and don't take me wrong, all of this complexity and weird design isn't for free. Rainward is also an occasional exercise in bullshit, from unpredictable enemy spawns to bad RNG to mechanics that are just straight up broken and probably bugged out. I don't think I got mad at a game more this year. But the fact Rainward still plays so high should tell you everything you need to know. And if you're looking for an engaging, unique experience, it's perfect. This is a weird year for a bunch of reasons, and for me personally, one of them is that during a time in which Ubisoft seems to be plummeting more than ever, I played several genuinely amazing games from them. High quality open world, ARPG, and racing games. The Crew 2 was a decent game with a lot of interesting ideas, but it had a few really big flaws that prevented me from loving it. It had a huge open world, but you had almost no reason to explore or even interact with it. And while it had a lot of variety in its events, activities and even vehicle types, it also had a weird structure and those events were very uneven. It had a heavy focus on quantity instead of quality. How does Motorfest solve these issues? It's simple, it just removes the ability to fast travel anywhere you want from the start, making you explore its gorgeous, vibrant setting by necessity. Instead of just having a long list of races and making some of them randomly relevant to the main story, Motorfest puts all of its content into a team playlist, focusing on different eras, brands, car types, vehicle types or racing disciplines. And while some are a bit better than others, the standard of quality is high, with great track design and a heavy focus on making every playlist genuinely different from each other. Whether that means playlist tuning event types and mechanics or to more subtle aspects like color filters, HUDs or music. It also has a smoother handling, its challenges are more fun and varied, and its seasonal content is great. It's just a huge improvement overall, and I'm looking forward to what's to come. Now for a game that probably made me the happiest this year.
We only getting started. Yeah, I got the
Because Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is a vision fully realized. As I mentioned in one of my previous micro reviews, Jet Set Radio is a game I appreciate. It is one of my favorite soundtracks, still looks pretty good and has a great vibe, but it's just really rough to actually play, with its clumsy controls and weird level design. That's why Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is so special. It's not just few fans wanting to make their own Jet Set Radio, it's the people with genuine love and care for its style and aesthetic, with goal to bring that into the modern times. And they not only succeeded, they exceeded my expectations by a lot. It looks phenomenal, it feels buttery smooth to control, it has an amazing structure that combines open world exploration and more closed off challenges, its story is surprisingly interesting, and the music is just right.
Sold not for purchase. Birth this ill style with mild symptoms. It gets them ecstatic. I'm a shock to the system.
The fact that it features a song from one of Tumao's tribute albums is just perfect. This game is not just trying to be a tribute to Jet Set Radio, it's Bumrush Cyberpunk, a new standard for spiritual successors. Let's continue with a theme of realized visions and perfected vibes. Hi-Fi Rush is almost my new favorite character action game, and it honestly does a lot of things better than my favorite. It has a great mission variety and pacing, consistently introducing new mechanics and features. It took a bit before I got into this game's combat, but once I did, the flow of it is incredible and kind of addicting, juggling between staying in rhythm and utilizing its wide offering of moves. Needless to say, it also looks amazing and sounds even better, with a quality selection of both original and licensed music. It also has a surprisingly good endgame content and characters I would like to see more of, and I hope we will. A flawed masterpiece is probably the best way to describe Cyberpunk 2077. Its story is touching, well written and has a lot of great moments, but also poorly paced and feels a bit too short for a massive AAA RPG. Talking about RPG, it has extensive progression systems and ways to grow your character, and while at least one of them feels almost completely pointless, Cyberpunk gives you a lot of ways to play and create a build that suits you. From a tank with a shotgun to a ninja, from a stealthy operator to a gunslinger, from a netrunner to an edge runner. The fact that the combat also feels great helps a lot as well, with smooth controls and detailed body damage. It also has the most detailed, gorgeous, dense open world I've ever seen, and it's also a game that can feel quite shallow at times. The main weaknesses of Cyberpunk are its limited player agency and weak side content, cornerstones of every good RPG, and certainly a cornerstone of one of my all-time favorite games, The Witcher 3. Every side quest in that game is a little story, a story with characters, twists and decisions to make. All of them felt interesting and special, and I still remember some of them almost a decade after playing Witcher 3. And I don't think the same will happen with Cyberpunk. There's a reason the funny vending machine, the funny talking gun and the funny crucifixion get brought up a lot. They're some of the few side quests that stand out, which doesn't bear well for a game with hundreds of them. A large portion of them are mini-boss fights with cyberpsychos and short, bit-sized gigs. And while they're fun because of the already mentioned combat, they often feel dangerously close to clearing outposts in Far Cry, which means apart from one or two examples, they're really not memorable. And the longer side quests aren't any better. A lot of them are super short or too simple in their writing and objectives, meaning completing them often felt just like clearing the map of checkmarks instead of engaging with its world. There are a few more aspects of this game that feel shallow, like the already mentioned lack of any real decisions affecting the story, weak character creator, or how easy the game can eventually get. But I'll stop now. This might sound really harsh for a 5th place entry on this list, but I need you to understand. In a different timeline, in one which CD Projekt delivered on all of its promises, this easily could have been the top 3, if not number 1. Its production is incredible, its open world seems fantastic, its story is captivating, and its gameplay and progression are a lot of fun. But it just doesn't fulfill its potential, and even after all of its patches and improvements, I now understand that all of the disappointment on the release wasn't just about the performance and bugs. But CD Projekt still has a chance to fully redeem themselves, and I believe they will. I really do. Compared to the next entry, Crew Motorfest does a lot of details right. It has a slightly better structure, it has a better checkpoint system, it has a better photo mode, it has a better rewind system. I would even argue its vibrant color palette and locations look slightly better. But Forza Horizon 5 does two major, very important things way better, its driving physics and seasonal content. The first point is a no-brainer. While Motorfest has handling that feels pretty good, Forza still has the best driving model I have ever seen, perfectly balancing giving you just enough control and giving the cars enough satisfying weight and resistance, with enough variety between the individual cars to make collecting them even more fun. And while the competition aspect in Motorfest is interesting, and I understand why some would prefer it, weekly and monthly content in Forza is simply more plentiful, varied and rewarding. Motorfest has 6 races and 3 challenges every week. Forza Horizon 5 has stat, online races, community races, car challenges, photo challenges, championships, and more. It just does the things that matter better, and that's why it deserves a higher spot. But I also have to say, in the year or so I've been playing this game, Forza Horizon 5 hasn't changed or improved in anything, and in certain aspects it is weaker than Forza Horizon 4. Its Horizon stories are generally pretty underwhelming. It still has the occasional bug. Its DLC situation is getting worse, and in terms of tournament content, if we ignore cars, which is just kind of expected and all of them are recycled anyway, we got new clothing, a radio station, a new track, a new multiplayer, parentheses bad mode, and that's it. Meanwhile, Crew Motorfest received a new map, new playlists, new open world activities, and a whole new progression system designed specifically for replayability. Its updates aren't just more content. They're improvements and refinements. They're making the game better and more fun to play. Forza Horizon 5 is certainly a better game now, but the gap is shrinking, and we'll see how it looks in a year. I said that Mafia Definitive Edition is the best remake on this list, and it is, but it's also not the best game that also happens to be a remake on this list. What do I mean by that? Well, Mafia Definitive Edition fixes a lot of problems of the original game and does it really well, but Resident Evil 4 didn't need that much fixing to begin with. I also honestly don't love every change Capcom made. Some of the boss fights or even levels felt a bit weaker, but it doesn't change anything about how fantastic this game is. It still has that intense strategic third-person combat and polishes it up, making it better to control and give it more intuitive and responsive enemy design. Its new side assignments and a semi-open world design give you an incentive to explore. It looks amazing, its writing and character designs are much better, and it also has my favorite mercenaries since the original Resident Evil 4. Capcom is on an insane, super consistent streak for a few years now, and both Resident Evil 9 and hopefully the remake of Resident Evil 5 are currently my most anticipated games by a lot. Look, I don't need to explain why Baldur's Gate 3 is here. You heard, seen or experienced enough about it to know why, but I'll briefly talk about it anyway. My favorite party in any RPG I ever played, fantastically designed and written side quests. World design filled with secrets, tightly balanced combat, great character customization and amazing pacing. This is one of those huge, super important milestone games, a title that pushes the genre just a little bit further. It shows what AAA can really mean. I'm honestly kind of upset we won't see more of it, whether that would mean an expansion or even a sequel, especially since the game teases it a bit. But now you're probably wondering, if Baldur's Gate 3 is the second best game I played this year, Baldur's Gate 3 probably could have won on more objective metrics like innovation or production value, but this is my list, and games that are more important to me win. Because Spiritfarer is the most touching and well-written game I played this year. It's full of stories about grief and different ways of dealing and living with it. It's about characters reflecting on their lives, on their achievements and regrets, on their brightest and darkest moments. Each of them is a little bit different, each of them carries a lesson and a meaningful, interesting story arc. But this is not this game's biggest achievement. The best part of Spiritfarer is that all of this takes place in an incredibly tightly designed genre blend, a combination of management strategy, platforming, exploration, farming, and a little bit of Metroidvania. All of these stories take place in a beautiful, detailed world. A varied setting full of well-paced, well-designed content. It looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, and it feels beautiful to play. And mainly, Spiritfarer reminded me that even though I can now play high production quality AAA games like this, or this, or this, are the reason why I care about this art form. They're the reason why I always come back to it and look for more experiences like them. They're a reason why I will always continue to come back. That's why Spiritfarer is the best game I played in 2024. It's an incredible, deeply touching game, and then a reminder of why I care. So that's it for the ranking of every game I played this year. As I'm sure you noticed, this year was stacked, and it was honestly hard picking the right spots for the right games at times. But I somehow managed to do it, and I'm really glad I did. I hope it's an improvement from last year, which was maybe a bit too fast paced and I ramble at times, and I think this might be a new yearly tradition. As I said, looking back and reminding yourself of both good and bad is important in my opinion. And as for my overall plans for next year, I'll try. I dislike making promises at this point for obvious reasons, but making this has been a lot of fun and it kind of reminded me of how much I missed it. I know I'll be busy, between juggling work and trying to finish college, but I'll try to find some time and also potentially a new format, as I'm getting a bit tired of the micro reviews, or I could at least find a way to improve them. Because I'm already picking what games I want to play the next year, and my goal is to create the most stacked, high quality year yet. Either way, I hope you had a good year and are currently enjoying a pleasant Christmas season. And I also hope you enjoyed this video or anything else I ever made, it means everything to me. And as always, thank you for watching. My name is PiNKII, take care and I'll see you soon.